Quick side note. Your mom just messaged me.
You're listening to TKR. Hello, everyone. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Reroll that. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TKR. My name is Riley, and I'm here with my co-host, TK.
Hello, I'm co-host.
Yes, co-host. We are, this is the first recording we've done in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It already feels foreign because we recorded the last episode ahead of time. But we're back at it.
I hope that
we're
episode
good
as well. That was so funny.
Oh my gosh, no, that's okay. If you haven't watched the last episode, go listen to the last episode because it was our best episode so far, and it's the most underperformed episode so far.
Literally, like, I was crying at one point because
it was so we laughed more in that episode than we have in any other episode. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, if you haven't checked that out, go check that one out. I meant to clip it and like upload it to the socials, but I totally didn't do that. so we'll do that at some point. Yeah, I want to get better at that. But we'll get there. Exciting news. Oh, I should preface this. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween!
This is our TKR Halloween special.
Oh.
I was totally gonna dress up, but it's hot in my room, and yeah, but get the TKR is now dressed as a Pokemon trainer.
I don't know how well this will go.
Keep it there the entire episode.
I'll try.
For our audio listeners, TK is currently balancing a Bulbasaur plush on top of his head, and he's going to keep it there for the whole episode. Definitely.
Oh, wait, hang on. I just realized. I have a Rowlet.
So before we... Oh, you got a Rowlet. So before we start this episode, exciting news. This is the last episode before we are recording in person.
Oh, my God. I didn't know where you're going with that. Exciting news. We're done. 10 episodes.
That's the last episode. That was it. Next week, we're going to record in person. It's going to be awesome. I should say that the next couple of episodes, like the next one or two, might be of lower quality. Because we'll be recording. I think we're just going to do a short, not necessarily short, but like a Comic-Con wrap-up for the next episode. And I'd imagine by that point, we won't have like our professional setup done by then. And I will also be editing those videos on my old laptop. So might not be the best quality, but we'll have something up.
It's super grainy, and it's like
yeah, no, it's probably literally just going to be recording on my phone with our lav mics plugged into it. And I'll just splice in the intro and the outro, and we'll call it good. But it is going to be very exciting. We're doing. I've been rushing to get stuff together for the conventions today. Do you want to see everything I have to get signed?
Let's do it. Let's see it. I
right, so this,
I can show that I'm getting signed.
Okay, so this is for both conventions. So for Grand Rapids, I guess there's only one, because Tom Kenny's going to be there. So this is my, what I'm going to have Tom Kenny sign.
Quick side note. Your mom just messaged me.
Why?
I'm a little offended that you're having on as your first official guest and not your guys' favorite mom.
Okay, she totally knows. She totally knows that we're recording now, too. She totally knows. All right. All right. We'll have my mom on as a guest in a future episode.
We got to bleep whose name it was, though, so no one knows who our first guest is. Well, that's really...
Yes. So look forward to that in a future episode. But yeah, so back on topic. Tom Kenny, voice of SpongeBob and many other beloved characters, is going to be there. A personal hero of mine. I'm very nervous to meet him. I don't typically get nervous to meet people at conventions because most of them do this for a living, and so they're good at making conversation and talking to people. So I don't really get nervous, but Tom Kenny is one of those people that I'm like, I idolize him as a human being. How what do I say to him? So that's exciting. I'm gonna get a picture with him in my SpongeBob musical hoodie. I'm gonna get him to sign my SpongeBob pop figure, so that's exciting.
I still have I don't know if you can see it, but I actually have it framed up there.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was toying with the idea of getting him to sign one of those, just because that's something that would be very special to me.
Are you cool if I show it on podcast?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I know we've lightly talked about it before, but I participated in a local production of the SpongeBob musical last fall. It was actually in December when the performances were.
It's probably gonna be backwards on the recording, but
I know on Discord it shows normal. That's how it looks for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I made this poster for our cast that I never actually got to hand out, but
I thought you did hand it out.
No, I gave out a few.
Okay.
Because I went to get them printed and there was like staples was like, oh, copyright infringement. We're not allowed to print that. I was like, screw you. So I printed it out on my college's 11 by 17 printers. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, so it was too late at that point to hand them out. We'd already dispersed for the show. So I did give it to some friends that I still connected with after. But so I just have a pile of these in my basement. But so part of me really wants to get Tom Kenny to sign one of those just because that's something very close to my heart.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Did you know that Tom Kenny wrote The Best Day Ever? The song?
Did you really?
He actually wrote the song for when it originally aired in the show. Because he has a band.
What?
He's what is it? Oh, I don't remember what they're called. But yeah, he's like the front runner of a band that performs. Anyways, so that's item 1. So that's the only thing I'm really taking to get signed at Grand Rapids Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. Motor City's the biggest one though, and since we're only going for one day, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get all this stuff signed. But this is the first one. I already told TK about this one.
Yes!
I've got the Ziminger Funko Pop that I'm going to get the voice actor to sign. I'm so excited for that. That's another thing we talked about in the last episode because it's the same voice actor who played Billy from Billy and Mandy. Actually, no, I think that was 2 episodes ago now. I'm all backwards in my head now.
It's a blur.
It is. Next is Jerry Smith from Rick and Morty. I'm gonna get Chris Parnell to sign that. That's the one that I'm like, if we're waiting in line, if I don't have time, I might not get that one signed. But I'm hoping we'll have time to get all of them signed.
That's the one dedicated in your head. It's like, yep, this one, not it.
This one. And then next, of course, is Miles Morales.
Let's go.
I don't know which one. I've got like 5 of these, and I don't know which one I want to get signed yet. But it's gonna be one of these 2 probably. Najee Jeter, who plays Miles Morales he played him in the PS4 games, and he also played him on the Disney Channel shows.
Okay.
Because I have my Yuri Lowenthal Spider-Man from the first game signed up there. So I'm going to get him to sign one of those to go with it. And then I've got some comic artists, but I haven't pulled out the books yet, so.
Side note, everyone, Riley has now played Spider-Man.
Actually, okay. I haven't beaten it yet.
Okay, I was going to say, you're 8 days past due. You're going to tell me you haven't played?
I know, I'm so upset. Yeah, so Spider-Man has been out for a week now. I have played through a little bit of it, but I haven't had the chance to sit down and play through the whole thing, which deeply, deeply upsets me.
It's a shame.
I know. I don't even think, I think I'm only like 30% of the way through the game.
Really?
Like, I've seriously, like, light spoilers. I'm not going to say any spoilers, but I'm going to say stuff that happened in the trailer. So
everyone dies.
Everyone dies. No, so, like, we all know that Venom was a big part of this game, supposedly. Mm-hmm. Venom hasn't even showed up yet in my playthrough, so I don't even know how far. I'm probably not very far into the game, but I've been addicted to this stupid fruit game on the Nintendo Switch. That's why I haven't played Spider-Man.
Let it just have boomerangs in it.
No.
Aww.
Are you talking about Boomerang Fu?
Yes.
I love that game.
It's so
It's
fun.
such a fun game. I love it. Yeah, no, I love that game. But it's this. It's kind of like a puzzle game, kind of like Tetris. I first found it. Do you know Sea Dog VA?
No.
Okay, he's a YouTuber. I think Ludwig did it too. But it's like this game where you get like different fruits, like it ranges from like cherries to strawberries. Goes up in size. Basically, like when you combine 2 strawberries together, it makes grapes. When you combine 2 grapes together, it makes like a cantaloupe or some sort of melon. When you combine 2 of those together, it makes an orange, so on and so forth. So you get points by combining these fruits, and you can't let it go out the top. Kind of like Tetris. And I don't know why this stupid game is so addicting, but I will open it. I will pop open the Switch to play 1 round, and I'll be sitting there for 3 hours playing this stupid fruit game. It's horrible. And that's the only reason why I haven't beaten Spider-Man yet, is because I would get home from work and I'd be like, I should play Spider-Man. And then I'd sit down and play this stupid fruit game for 2 hours.
You said it like
it's awful.
Sure. It's like, oh God, I'm gonna play this game I've been hoping for like 2 months now.
I know. It's terrible. And it's funny because they must have updated it recently. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it because it's a Japanese game. They just added English subtitles like the day I started playing it this week. It's called, I think it translates to watermelon game, but it's called like Suika game. I don't know how to pronounce it, but something like that. Anyways, it's like a $3 Switch game. Go play it. It's really, really fun. But yeah, that's why I have gotten nowhere. I also played Super Mario Wonder, which was it's fun. It's different. It really taps into the roots of like kind of the zaniness of the old games. So it's really, really bizarre, but it's a lot of fun if 2D platformers is your thing. But yeah, so that's where we're at. What do you have that you're taking to Comic-Con to get signed?
You might remember it, but and I gotta take out my headphones again because it's over here.
Okay. Let's see.
So I gotta give the backstory about this framed photo first. So
okay,
you already know the backstory, but for the viewers at home, Riley here was a vendor at a convention for the first time this year, and I was his assistant. We talked about it in the pod already. But
yeah, probably
throughout the time, Riley was kind of just nervous to talk to people, and I was talking to everyone to get like an idea of how to best go through the process of being a vendor, how to stay up on all of it, stuff like that. And throughout all the people we met, everyone was super lovely. Everyone was amazing. And so the last day that they were there, I had all of them sign. It's probably not gonna be able to see it because of the light. There we go. Sign this framed photo for me. Just because I want to commemorate all the people that were so nice to us for our first time being vendors. And I made room, so I'm going to get their signature again this year. I can't get all of them because now I'm going to be at Grand Rapids or Motor City, but I'm going to try to get as many of them as possible.
Yeah, and I know a lot of them are going to be there.
I think we're only going to miss 2 of them.
Yeah?
Yes. I don't remember seeing Rise or Dave anywhere.
Oh, Rise is going to be at Grand Rapids.
Okay, awesome. So we're just
he's doing like the badge art for it.
Oh, is he really?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah. Last I saw, he was doing the badge art for it. So
okay, then
all of the lanyards are going to have his artwork on it, so he'll be there. I'm sure Dave will be there.
Oh, also I'm missing Bethany.
Dave does a lot of conventions.
I can't get Bethany. I have Bethany right in the bottom, and I can't get her. This is our friend from high school.
Yeah, so for the audio listeners, this is just, I think it's just a piece of cardboard.
It's literally just the backing to one of the cardboard pieces of artwork I bought from Rise.
Yeah, and TK's got all the artist signatures on it,
including my favorite from right here.
Hey.
RJ Studios with a
Woo.
Peter Deadpool. My biggest fan, he wrote.
Yep. Yes, I did. I'm that self-absorbent. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Oh, 100%.
Even if it's gonna be me waiting in line. All right, I have a rant to go on. First of all, this is just like, okay. I love Grand Rapids Comic Con. Great convention.
Oh no, where's the going?
Their website is awful.
Oh, 100%.
It's horrible. Their website sucks. But anyways, so it's like the week before the convention. They don't have any of like the prices listed yet. They've got photo op prices, but they don't have like autograph prices or whatever listed, which is fine. That's not my only beef. My biggest beef is for like they do professional photo ops. For people who don't go to conventions, that's a thing that happens is most of the time there's like professional photographers there to take pictures in a studio environment, so you can get a picture with your favorite celebrities, whatever. Really cool thing. So for Motor City, like we're getting a picture with David Harbour, a few friends and I, and it's you go on and you just pre-purchase your slot to this thing.
Oh, really?
So you just show up at the time that your photo op is at, get in line, and then they scan the thing on your phone and you go.
Okay.
Grand Rapids, they have like a booth set up where you have to buy it at the convention.
Yep.
Which is like, that's such an ineffective way of doing it. Because I'm sure it's a pretty long line. So I wanted to get a picture with Tom Kenny. That's the big thing that I wanted to do. And so I was like, oh, I'll just go on and pre-purchase the thing. No. So now I have to go wait in Tom Kenny's line at 10 o'clock, right when they first open, wait for him to get his autograph. Then I have to immediately go wait in the photo line for an hour to do that. Hopefully be done with that by 1:30 to get the photo with Tom Kenny. Oh man, it's so like there's about 50 other ways I can imagine doing that would be more effective than just going and waiting in line, but it's fine, whatever.
It sucks as well because there is no shot we'll be able to get in line fast enough for you to be like in the first 10 or something. Mm-hmm. Because the last time Riley and I went to Comic-Con, we were like, they have like separate doors that you can walk in. We were there at like 9:10, 9:20. So 50 minutes before they opened this place, we were in the back of the farthest line from the door we came in from. And in comparison, the first time I went to that Comic-Con, me and my roommate Jose, by accident, did I ever tell you the story about how we accidentally got in the front of the line?
Yes.
We accidentally got into the front of the line, like right in front of the doors as our first Comic-Con. They had, I don't know what it was, but there's like these stairs that go into like where the check-in place is for your tickets and your bag scan. And the line was coming out and it was doing this weird curve all the way back. So the back of the line was actually at the top of the stairs. So you had to walk through these people. And we kind of just stood, like it went this way. So like a U shape. We sat on the other side thinking that was back of the line. Turns out it wasn't. And I was like, oh, back line's over there. So Jose's like, no, everyone's lining up here. I'm like, no, let's go to the back. Let's be fair. Like, I want to cut in front of people. We get back there. Immediately as we turn our backs, someone goes, you're first in line. Come here. So we're like, oh, okay.
You're like, oh, whoops.
So
cool.
They took us from the back of the lines to the front. So we go in. We're literally the first tickets they scanned, the first people in. So we're the front of the first line from the doors. And we're like, I'm looking back, I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And this one dude who was next to us, he goes, I mean, the game's the game. I felt so bad.
Yeah, I have a feeling we won't get that lucky this time around.
Especially
that's okay.
We went so much earlier that time because the first time we just took like a couple hours on a bus and we got there, so we didn't have to drive because I didn't want to do parking.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, yeah, we'll just bus there. It'll be fine. And then we parked there, and it takes us longer to get in.
Yeah, you have to get to those things early.
And then if Julia decides to come too, it'll be more difficult to get there early enough.
Yeah. It'll work out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. If anything, we'll just kick Julia and Nick out of the car.
Just be like, sorry, get out. No, it'll be fine. I'm really excited.
Oh, so much fun.
Yeah. There was something else I was gonna say about that, but I totally don't remember.
Your
Anyways,
grievances with Grand Rapids Comic Con?
no, it's a great convention, and I hope to do art vending someday there. But it's just, yeah, they could use a little website upgrade, but it's fine. We won't complain too much because I get to meet Tom Kenny, and that's really all I care about. But yeah, so I guess with that, we'll get into our topic for the day.
Woo!
I haven't told TK about this topic yet, but hold on, I have to prepare real quick.
Oh no. It's becoming a trend that we no longer tell each other what the topics are, since I didn't tell him what the first one was. Or my first one was, so now we're in this pattern. I haven't told him what I have for next week. Can we end the podcast?
Yes. Today we are talking about this is the obligatory, sorry, probably can't hear me. This is the obligatory the obligatory Five Nights at Freddy's episode. We're doing it. Oh my gosh, that's bad. The smell of cheap latex is ringing deep into my nostrils.
You said you were saying cheap latex. I thought you were gonna say the smell of cheese. I'm like, why is there cheese?
Yes, everybody. Today is the obligatory, in honor of Halloween. Today is the obligatory Five Nights at Freddy's episode. The movie just came out yesterday. I watched it twice in theaters already. Maybe we should start with that. Hold on, let me grab this. Maybe we should start with that. All right.
Before you say anything, I want to play. This is the fourth time Riley's told me that he's watched the movie as it came out the second time. Four times.
Yes, it's okay. So it's Saturday when we're recording this. I went Thursday night and Friday night. So as most people know, especially there's like two generations of, I guess. Okay, sorry, I'm getting off track. For those who are listening and may not know, Five Nights at Freddy's is a horror video game franchise. It's like a Chuck E. Cheese style pizza restaurant where the animatronics come to life at night and try to murder whoever's in there. Spoiler alert, they're haunted by dead children. That's the simplest way to put it. And yeah, it's this was a thing that happened when TK and I were in like middle school. That's when the franchise started. It's still going strong. So there's like two distinct generations of Five Nights at Freddy's fan. There's our age of people who grew up on the original games, and then there's a new generation of younger people who are into like the newer games. So I decided to go. I wanted to go Thursday night because I knew that all the kids would be like in school or like, school night, so they wouldn't be at the movie theater that late. So I was like, all right, that's going to be a good night to go. And it was awesome.
Okay.
Fantastic movie. I won't spoil anything. It's not really a horror movie. If you're watching it for the horror elements, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Okay. Well, that's what I was curious about too, because I haven't seen anything about it either. I've been keeping away from myself. Okay.
Yeah, from like if you're a fan of the franchise and the lore, it's very lore and story intensive, which is great. Because that's one of my favorite things about the original games is the storytelling. I'm starting to sound like a broken record here. I think I've talked about storytelling in every episode, but the games use a very cryptic storytelling technique where most of what we know about the story has just been found through clues and speculation and stuff that wasn't confirmed until later. It's very cool. And so to have a movie that kind of, it's obviously a different story, but it kind of sheds light on things that happen in the games. Very cool. So if you're coming at it from that perspective, it's great. Anyways, I went Thursday night. Awesome experience. I went with a few friends who also grew up on the game. It was great. Friday night was probably one of the most miserable movie-going experiences of my life.
Can I guess who you went with?
Who?
Was it Tom and Mika?
Yeah. And I felt so, wow, you guys have run nail on the head. Wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh, like it was bad. We almost left halfway through the movie and went back home and watched it on Peacock. That's how bad it was.
What happened?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh God.
So obviously since it was a Friday night, it was a lot of the younger fans who were there.
Okay.
Which is fine. But it was just like, I have never been in a theater that was so disrespectful and disgusting and like, oh my gosh, it was bad. So first of all, to kick it off, right before the movie started, there was a group of girls behind us and they were having a conversation. They were like, should I take my shoes off? And one of them was like, oh yeah, I took mine off. I'm taking mine off. And it reeked. Disgusting. It was gross. Second of all, people talked throughout the whole movie. Like all sides, the people behind us, the people to both of our sides, the people in front of us, talking throughout the entire... Why would you pay to go to a movie and just talk through the entire thing? Like, I get, like, whispering something like, oh, that was this, or this was a reference to that. That's fine. It was talking and Snapchatting with phones at full brightness throughout the entire movie. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
And then, every little thing, I swear these people didn't watch the trailers or something, because they acted surprised about every little thing, and it was outrageous cheering and clapping. 30 seconds of clapping every time somebody name dropped something. Like, I don't want to spoil the movie for people who haven't watched it, but there was a big plot twist in the middle, and people were too busy applauding at something that popped up on screen that they totally missed the plot twist. And so when it was referenced later in the movie, they started screaming again. I'm like, watch the movie! Oh my gosh. I'm all for people being like having a franchise and having a fan base that they're passionate about. I think that's great. But like, have some etiquette, man. You can be passionate and still be respectful. Like, I don't know. I'm glad they enjoyed the movie, and I'm probably just like the old man who's grumpy and complaining all the time. But like, it was a very bad experience, and I felt so. I didn't mind as much because I had already seen the movie.
Seen it, but Tom and Mika, oh my God.
But they were going first time, and they missed everything. Like I had to explain everything to them because they couldn't hear the dialogue. Yeah, it was bad. So that's
so terrible. This is a little bit off topic, but I thought I would have an experience like yours when I went to go see the Jujutsu Kaisen movie in theaters. Because I don't know if you know this about anime fans, but you either get people that are like, yeah, I love anime, or like, you need to love anime or else you're stupid, right? And Jujutsu Kaisen, at the time, and still kind of is now, but it was like one of the highest grossing talked about animes at the time. Because like, it just had its first season, everyone's loving it, the manga's still coming out, it was great. So we went to the theaters, right? Literally, it was like the most proper group of people I have ever met. Like, it was the week after it had originally premiered, but it was still like within the first week. To give you an idea on how many people were like talking or stuff like that, there was only one person that talked throughout the entire movie. That was like, that was it. You wanna know who that person was?
Yeah. Who?
Me. I made a reference, and I thought I whispered it, but I screamed it too loud, and then I made everyone laugh. But regardless of that, literally every point of it was just like everyone, like how you was. Everyone was enjoying like the plot twist or like enjoying the pieces of it, but it was never like to an extent that they were like ruining the experience for everyone else. Which I was confused about.
It was just like, so one part, like, it's supposed to be tension building, like it's scary, it's dark, and it's like building up. The music's kind of swelling in the background. It's starting to build up, and then one of the kids in the front row starts going, "Hi, hi, 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 hi," and it's like everybody starts laughing. It's like, it's not funny. Stop! It's supposed to be like an intense, like,
I would be
and granted, I mean, I thought it was kind of funny, but like, I just, it's proper movie etiquette. It's like, I'm all for enjoying a movie like that with a bunch of other people who are into the same thing you are into. That's great. But just like, it was just so annoying to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but
you mentioned name dropping earlier. I imagine like in the movie, it's like, because I have, just a disclaimer, I've not seen anything about the movie. I don't know the actors. I don't see the trailers. I go in completely dark, which is incredible, by the way. Almost can never do this. So I imagine like the name drop parts, like they're looking at a map and like, oh no, this says, and they look at the camera, Markiplier on it, and it's like, yeah, Markiplier.
But no, it was even so there were Do you care about spoilers about cameos that were in the trailers?
Go for it.
Okay. So in the trailer, quite clearly, in like multiple trailers, it showed a scene with Corey Kenshin, like driving a cab.
Oh my
with Freddy Fazbear in the back seat. This was like, in every single trailer.
That's awesome.
And like, I don't, and it was funny, but I don't understand because it was just like he shows up and says the thing, and everybody starts gasping, and then it's applause for 30 seconds. I'm like, we knew this was in the movie. Like, I don't know, man. I guess I shouldn't complain because I was probably the same way during No Way Home.
I honestly, I think it's not even bad. Have you heard about the David Dobrik cameo in was it not Flavor Angry Birds?
No.
So I forget it was the first one or second one, but David Dobrik was one of the birds, and literally his entire line, like I think he was a security guard, and the security guard flips his hat backwards and says, "Oh, it's on!" That's all David Dobrik said in the movie, and people were like, Dave, like for
oh my gosh,
like. First of all, we already saw it beforehand because David put in a vlog. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in this movie. Ha ha ha! Look at the line I say." That's all he said, and everyone's like, "Yeah, David Dobrik vlogs one." It's like, really?
Yeah.
Flip the hat backwards and oh, it's on. That's 3 words, 3 whole words.
Yeah. Which is like, I get it if you're a fan, like that's something to be excited about. But like, you just missed the entire movie. That's the part I don't get, is like, it's fine if you like get excited and you're like, hey, yeah, that's great. But like, you just missed, you missed vital parts of the movie because you were too busy screaming. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old and that's just me. But so that's what, in my mind, there's like 2 very distinct groups of Five Nights at Freddy's fans. There's the people that I went with Thursday night, where it's like, we're the original fans, the OG fans. It was all people my age who like grew up on the games, and then Friday night was like the new age Five Nights at Freddy's fans.
I thought you were insulting Tom and Mika for a second, but you're talking about the audience. I'm like, wow.
No.
Tom and Mika are the same age as us.
No, and that's what I was surprised because they don't have a ton of exposure to the games.
I didn't think so.
Tom's younger sister was super into the franchise too, so Tom had a little bit of exposure to it. Mm-hmm. But no, that's the one thing, is Five Nights at Freddy's lore is like criminally underrated.
Oh, 100%.
Like this, it's a little goofy, but the actual story behind it is actually insanely good. Like, do you have a lot of exposure to like the lore of it?
I have a lot of bits and pieces. I have a friend that's really into it, to the point where like leading up to the movie, I go to her house every Sunday because I play D&D with their group. Mm-hmm. Every time, like subtly in the background, you just hear Five Nights at Freddy's playing, and then you just look over at her and she's there like, Haley, if you listen to this, I love you, but goddamn.
Yeah, it's like, So do you know the YouTuber, his name is Wendigoon?
I feel like I've heard of it.
Yeah, so he's very big. He does a lot of documentary style videos where he'll go into, he's a horror guy.
Okay.
And so he'll go into depth about different horror stories, whether it's video games or movies or whatever, and he'll do documentaries on different cryptids and stuff like that. And so it's like an hour and a half long. It's like his comprehensive timeline of how he thinks the events of the games played out. So that's kind of my go-to for the lore, is that video. And he does some things that are quote unquote controversial, that like he puts things out of place of what people typically think. But like, basically that's another difference between like old fans and new fans, is like my generation, our story kind of cuts off at like games like, I think it's number 6, whatever,
Insane
Pizzeria
that it
Simulator,
went that far.
whenever that came out. I know. Well, it went beyond that now.
I know,
because now there's
so
like security
insane.
breach and help wanted, and so a lot of the new fans are fans of like security breach, because that's like the game that they got hyped about, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with any of that stuff, but it like changed the lore of the original games, and so in my mind, like the actual lore stopped at like game at like sister location and the game that followed that. But no, it's just crazy how deep, like I wish Scott Cawthon did more public interviews and stuff, because he doesn't do a whole lot of stuff with that. But I wish he would do more, because I want to know, like, did he have this story written ahead of time? Or did he just make it up? Because like the first game, obviously, like there's not a ton of lore, quote unquote, in the first game. But like technically in storyline wise, the first game that ever came out comes like 5th in the chronological order.
Really?
The rest are just like prequels and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
And so there's a lot of stuff like Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I think it was based after 4 and 5. So it's like, I don't know. It's just crazy how you look back at the games, like the first games that came out. It's like, oh, these pieces were in place when they first came out. They didn't connect back to this. So I want to like sit down and have a conversation and be like, how far did you plan out? Like, did you make this up as you went? Because it's really insanely in depth. Like, it's impressive, to say the
You
least.
talk to him. It's like, how far does it go? He's like, Freddy is actually Noah from the Ark.
Have you read that? You just like completely straight face. Have you read the scripture?
Have you ever read
far have you
Marvel
read
and
into
DC?
He just goes, oh my gosh.
Could you imagine if like you go back and rewatch like a Marvel movie, you see Freddy Fazbear in like the bottom left corner just looking at you,
And it's like, no!
he was there.
He was there!
Instead of Thanos snapping, it was just Freddy clapping, and that's what got through.
It was there! The pieces were in place! That would be so funny. I like, but I don't know.
I'd pay so much money to see that.
I know.
It would mean nothing to so many people, but it would be so funny just to see him like
Just Fazbear in the Battle of New York in the first Avengers movie, and he's just standing in the corner, like, oh my gosh.
This might be a little bit off topic, but if I ever created a movie, I really want to do stuff like that, like make a franchise. I always wanted to do something like that where I just put small things in. Like I always thought about putting, like having a character wear sunglasses, having the reflection in the sunglasses of a cameo of something that if you have to be watching close to be able to see it. I would love to do that. That'd be so much
Dude,
fun.
that's why shows like Gravity Falls are my absolute favorite.
Gravity Falls is so good.
Because you look back at Gravity Falls wasn't very long. It was only 2 seasons, but it was spread out over like
5 years.
Quite a bit of years, 5 or 6.
I'll look it up while we're talking.
But yeah, so there was, it was very, You know, it wasn't that long, but everything, all the little details were so careful.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like people predicted the big plot twist of the end of season 1, I think.
2012 to 2016.
Yeah, okay. Oh, so I guess it was 4 years.
Yeah.
But still, for like 20 episodes, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But like all the pieces were laid out throughout the first season.
Oh, it was so good.
To where it's like people figured it out, and then when it actually revealed, it was like, we were right.
It's insane too that they put that in a kids show.
I know. That's the thing is I hardly classify Gravity Falls as a kid show.
Yeah, I put it in the
Like
same
it's
category.
it's kid friendly. I'll say that. It's
Yeah.
kid friendly, but it's so in depth with like the lore and the Easter eggs, the mystery. It's the mystery, the storytelling that like you figure out the story by yourself.
It's at
You
face
piece
value,
it together slowly.
At face value, it is just a kid show without looking at any of like if you look just at the center of the screen, it is just a kid show. But once you start to look at any corners, you immediately see it. Like the first time I saw part of it, that was like, oh, it goes deeper. I forget what actually the episode was, but it had something to do with like a hot air balloon, and you could see Dipper running through. Spoilers. You can see like on these countertops of I think it was like a carnival or a festival. They have these booths. On each one, you could see like different symbols and different words, but you had to stop to look at them, and it like told you like, oh, this is the story right here.
Uh-huh.
That was like
right.
a whole season in. I'm like, oh, maybe let's go back and see. I looked it up on YouTube. It's like, oh, let's see all the Easter eggs. And it was like an hour and 25-minute video. It was like, here's all the Easter eggs you missed. I'm like, that's only 5 episodes deep. He goes,
yeah.
Oh.
It's because it's such a careful way of storytelling that it's like all the pieces are in place. You just have to look in the right spots to find them.
Yeah.
And of course, it all is revealed after, but like, there's so much, like, I can't even fathom how to write something like that. Like, it scares me because like I'm working on writing the pilot for the show that I'm working on. Whether or not it'll actually go anywhere, I doubt it, but it's just a passion project that I have working. And I'm trying to, I have like a few of those Easter eggs in place where I'm like, all right, this is going to be a very specific thing in this shot that like nobody's going to pay attention to, but it's going to come into play like at the very end when they're doing all their stuff. It's like I'm trying to work that stuff in, but it's so hard because you have to know where the story's going.
Yeah.
Like you have to have like Alex Hirsch. He's amazing. He's the guy who made it. He also voiced Seuss and Grunkle Stan. I love Seuss. Like he had to figure out the entire 2-season story before even making the first episode in order to put those details in there.
Well, not even that as well. He had to also like in terms of that too, because I believe if it is how this works, they don't necessarily have seasons made. They have like the whatever company they're gonna stream it on, so like buys a season from them, and then after that season, depending on the revenue, they can then try to buy another one. So he thought in that terms he would have thought the entire story if he didn't. Let's say he had set for like 6 seasons, and they only bought 2. He had to then condense 4 into 1 more, and make it cohesive.
Right. That's
Insanity.
what I mean. It's insane to me. It's crazy. That's why I like Adult Swim as a company. Because like the show I'm working on, I'm afraid to publicize too many details of it just because it's not fully developed yet.
Don't worry, I got you. It's the Flash, but not the Flash. It's called the Speedy Boy.
Yeah. No, it's like a kind of a cartoony detective thing. I wanted to have like I wanted to have a good balance of comedy, but also like serious storytelling and like in depth. So I wouldn't say that I want it to be an adult show like most of the stuff that's on Adult Swim is, but I want it to be like, I guess, kind of like a Samurai Jack sort of thing, which is, I'm not saying it even comes remotely close to comparing to that because that's a high bar, but I'm just talking about in the sense that, like, you know, it's not adult, so to speak, but it's still able to portray more serious themes. Like, it's a detective thing, so there's going to be, like, you know, references to drug use and, like, you know, might use guns and start shooting at stuff sometimes. So it's not going to be, like, violent or gritty by any means.
They're hitting the gritty.
Hitting the gritty. But it's not something that would pass for, like, children's, like, Disney Channel. But so what Adult Swim does, what they've been doing is before they greenlight a series or a season, they'll play the pilot episode for whatever show it is on Adult Swim before it even, like, gets picked up for a season. So that's what happened with Smiling Friends. Fantastic. One of my favorite shows to come out in the last 2 years. It's so dumb, but it's so good. But that's what happened with that show. Is it was just like, oh, by the way, our this episode of the show that we made called Smiling Friends is playing on Adult Swim at 11:30 tonight. Go watch it. And so they take, like, the popularity of that, they use that to gauge whether or not they want to make a whole season of it, which is a super cool way of doing it.
Yeah, at least give people, like, a trial and error instead of just like, oh, I don't like the wording of that. Right.
So Adult Swim would be, like, the ideal network for me to get a show on. That's a high bar, and I don't think it's ever going to come to that. But
no,
that's stretch goals. But I'm just going to start small. Like, obviously, for something like that, animation is a lot to do with a one-person team.
Yeah.
So I wanted to originally have the entire thing done by next fall. And ready to, like, put into film festivals and stuff. Don't know if that's going to happen. Probably not going to get it that far, but that's the goal, is to just submit it to some film festivals to start.
Well, if you need a voice actor, look away, because I'll be terrible at it. I can't speak to save my life. It's like,
no, it's
you're on arrest.
And that's the thing too. That's my problem with it mainly, is because I am very I have major trust issues when it comes to that stuff. And so, like, I've even had friends who I bounce ideas off of, and they're like, "Oh, I can work on this with you if you want to." I'm like, "No." That's the problem. Is in that scenario, I'm like, I don't trust anybody else. Like, I've these characters are characters that I've been drawing for, like, 2 to 3 years. Their names are Frumpy and Scooty. So when you said Frumpy Doo, you were actually, like, right on the money, ironically enough. But they're characters that I've grown very fond of. And I did release, I think I showed you, but I did make an animatic for an episode for a program I did through Pixar, and I got some really good feedback, and it seemed to do well. People liked it, and even in that, I planted an Easter egg at the very end. There was, like, a post-credit scene where it was just, like, the big bad guy was laughing, and they were like, "Oh, is the bad guy secretly this guy in it?" I was like, "Yes!" It was something that I was like, I wanted to leave a red herring of, like, I wanted you to think that, like, I wanted people to make the connection that this might have been this character. And it worked, and people were just like, "Oh, is that, like, the plot twist is this guy is this guy?" I'm like, "All right, it works." But anyways, so yeah, it's that's the problem, is, like, I am very particular about the stories. It's like, I don't think people know these characters as well as I do. So it's like, I don't trust other people to help in the writing or the drawing or the voice acting, because which is a huge problem, because that means that I'm doing this all alone, and that's a bit problematic.
All alone with moral support.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's something that I'm working on. But yeah, it's really hard. That's that type of storytelling because you have to know where you're going with the story.
Yeah.
And once you start planting those Easter eggs, there's no changing it.
That's the fun thing too, because I run my own D&D campaign now with my friends. It's so fun because as soon as I wrote the beginning, I had the end. Like that, immediately I knew, like, okay, yeah. But the worst part about this is that I know exactly what the end is. I know exactly how they get there. I know exactly how it happens. But the problem is I can't write anything in between because they make the in between.
Right.
Literally, to give you an idea on how messed up this group is, shout out to them, by the way. I love these three to death. But they start off in like this house, and they looked outside, and one person's like, oh, what do I see outside? I'm like, oh, go ahead and roll. And they got a really low number. I'm like, oh, you see a deer. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it's just a guy like bent over, like grabbing the grass. And the guy goes, okay, I want to water bend water through this deer. I'm like, what? I changed it to be an actual deer. So now it's a whole thing about him. He now water bends deers every time he sees them. And he's like, he's done it.
Just waterbends deer.
It's even funnier too because he's waterbended the same guy 3 times now, but I've had to switch them to be a deer, so this guy just doesn't die. Like, he has a crucial role in the story, but he keeps killing him before he talks to him. So I had to keep switching it to be deers.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It's so, but I'm like, I want to kill this dude. Literally just talk to the deer, please.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's something that, okay, I don't know if I've pitched this to you yet, but I have the best idea that I think would be so funny for like one of those D&D style podcasts. I think it would be so funny to make somebody like me who's never played D&D. I played like 10 minutes of D&D. I think it would be so funny to let somebody like me who doesn't know anything about it DM. And I would go in not knowing anything. I think that would be such an entertaining, because even like stats and rolls, I don't know any of that stuff, so it would just be completely made up.
Oh, I don't know anything about either.
No, and so that's what I'm saying. I think it'd be such an entertaining concept for one of those D&D podcasts where it's just like this guy who doesn't know anything about D&D DMs a campaign. That'd be so much fun.
That's how it kind of was too. My first one, I did a one shot just because I wanted to see if I enjoyed it. Because I played this one campaign. I'm still in it. It's been like 2 years now. I was like, oh, maybe I'll enjoy DMing because I feel like in my head I can just make up stuff as I go, like in an instant. So I was like, I'll try it out. I got one of like the wheels that you spin. I wrote a number 1 through 14 on them, and I wrote down like a blurb of like what I want each one thing to be. I'm like, cool, I'll run with this. To give you an idea on like how little the words are on this thing, I'm gonna pull up this piece of paper. It's like there'd be a whole room that was like, oh, this person that has this thing, the reason why they're here is this thing, and all I'd have on the paper would be like that amount of writing right here. Literally, I just wrote down their name and then like what they do, and I made everything up as I went. And apparently, the people that played with me, they're like, that was the most fun I've ever played. So literally, I think a lot of it has to do with what group you're in as well. I think
for sure.
As long as the people know that they can like how wide they can swing, it makes it a lot funnier. Because my group, they know that like there is very little in terms of limitation for what they can do. So like they were making jokes about how they were married in a previous life, or how one of them wanted to raise the dead and he tried killing people to be able to do that, but I kept not letting him do it. So it was kind of an overworld and in-world experience of like just the fun of it. So I think that's a big aspect. Yeah,
stuff like that has to be fun. That's the problem is I've played with groups who want to keep it serious.
Can never do it.
And they're like, oh, you can. I'm like, no, that's not fun. I want it to be fun.
Could never do that. Literally.
No.
Like, I tried playing serious one time, and I was like, this is... Why would I do this?
Yeah, right. It just takes the fun out of it. Like, it's supposed to be... It's supposed to be fun and spontaneous, and you make stuff up in the moment. Like, It's very boring if you just do just a serious campaign.
It was,
I don't know.
It was so fun. I don't think I've told you about this, but the time I played serious and with the time I then played not serious, the time immediately after, it was like the time I played serious, there I couldn't do anything I wanted to. It was almost like just doing the small things. Oh, hang on, someone's knocking. Just a minute. And it was it just got to the point where like everything was like, let's say I wanted to shoot a bow, right? I had to just shoot at someone. I couldn't like do anything else with it. But then I went to not serious and like I wanted to shoot the bow. I was like, okay, cool. It's like, can I hit him in the left middle finger, please? It's like, why? I'm like, because then he can't flip me off, and that's a power move right there. Like that's just that just made it so much more fun. Just to have the small details of like, yeah, you know, I don't like this guy, so I'm gonna make his family hate him. But why though? Because I said so.
Right. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. You know what we should do for an episode of this podcast? We should just do like improv. Like that. We'll just do an episode of like whose line is it anyways? We'll just do an entire episode of just like us playing improv games. I think we would definitely need like a third. We'll need another improv person, but I think that'd be fun. That'd be fun. We'll put that one in the back bucket.
We should just do an episode where like every 10 minutes there's like a box of costumes and we have to switch costumes, and then that there's the idea right there. The box of costumes, right? We pick one up every 10 minutes, and then we have to be that character for 10 minutes. There we go.
We have to make up a different character every 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Yes. Dude, that'd be awesome. Let's do that sometime.
It'd get no views. It'd be so confusing, but it's like, I'm Sir Williams.
That's okay. As long as we have fun with it.
Oh, that'd give me so many vibes the last episode.
Oh my gosh.
I tried smelling milk again after that episode, and I still can't do it.
Oh, I don't believe you.
It makes me gag. It's gross.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I'll accept it. I didn't accept it in the last episode. I'll accept it now.
Will you now?
I don't understand it, but I acknowledge it.
For those of you that don't understand, last episode at the end we talked about stuff I don't like the smell of, and milk is one of them. Riley went to go smell milk, doesn't smell it. I smelled milk and I almost gagged on screen, or almost threw up on screen.
Not almost, he did gag on screen.
Yeah,
he almost threw up on screen. He was on his floor.
It smells really gross. You could not tell me. Yeah. Also, that was the thing that pissed me off about that. You said you couldn't smell it. It smells bad.
Nope, I can't smell it. I don't understand it. Anyways, back to the topic of the episode that we haven't talked about in the last 20 minutes. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, awesome. Good movie. Go watch it. Go play the games. Really great storytelling. I would try to explain the story, but it would actually take me like an entire episode of the podcast to lay out the story.
So if you want to hear, sub to our Patreon where we can understand the entire story of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, Patreon exclusive content coming on the Patreon sometime in the future that we don't have. Anyways, I guess we should start wrapping it up. Yeah, we're going to go watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movies when I come down.
Oh, 100%. We also got
we have
a list of movies we got to go watch.
I know. Yeah, I've started trying to pack up my stuff. I need to make a list of everything I need to bring. Good burger.
I have it on me.
Because I keep it on me. I'm just starting to try to organize everything I need to bring because it's a lot. Because I'm like, I have the bootleg. I don't know if I want to spoil this on the podcast, but we've got some really funny video stuff coming up. But so I've got a lot of supplies that I'm trying to remember to pack up and bring.
I gotta get the beans.
Get the beans.
I forgot to get the beans.
But yeah, it's gonna be good times. So look forward to that coming up in the next week. Next episode will be in person, and probably I guess I don't know how many episodes we'll record. Probably 2 or 3.
I would say at least 3 would be nice.
Excluding the Comic-Con one, probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
we'll see.
We're gonna get one in the hotel, aren't we?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it depends, I guess, how that plays out. But we'll either do it. In the hotel or
the road trip back
sometime on Sunday. Yeah, the road trip back. We'll do a road trip podcast. But yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. But yeah, so hopefully I'm thinking we do the 2 Comic-Con episodes, and then I'd like to get 2 or 3 extra episodes recorded. Because one's going to be with our first guest. One's going to be just us. I think that'll be our Thanksgiving episode, which also happens to coincide with the release of Good Burger 2. So it'll be our our Thanksgiving and also Good Burger 2 hype episode, because last episode wasn't enough praise.
Watch out for
we need a whole
Thanksgiving,
nother
guys.
episode.
We're gonna be in the movie theater. We're gonna have our podcast directly in the theater while we're watching the movie, so you'll hear us, and then you hear the movie.
Yep. But yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, a few in-person episodes. So it'll be a good time. It'll be exciting. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Thank you all for tracking along with us so far. We're coming up on episode 10. I think this is episode 8. So we're coming up on 10 episodes. We're committed, man. We're in it now.
We're in it to win it. Number 1 by next week, or we quit it.
We're coming for you, Joe Rogan. Rogan Experience is going to be number 2, and we're going to be number 1. We're taking the top spot back. Not taking it back because we never had it in the first place.
No. We had it. We
had it. Yeah, we had it for 1 episode. That 1 episode that did really good.
The one that
everybody knows. We deleted it. That's the nostalgia episode.
The what episode?
The nostalgia episode that got deleted.
Oh yeah.
It's out there somewhere. But it's deleted from the archives, so I guess we'll never actually get to hear it again. But you never know what might happen. So, yeah, thank you all for tuning in. This episode is a little chaotic, but we love it anyways. Yeah, keep an eye out for the stuff next week, and we'll see you then.
See you
Have
in
a good
person.
Week.
Later.
Yay. Bye-bye.